Hello everyone, and you're very welcome. I'm in great company with Giselle of Cream of the Crop, and I'm Tracie Daly, development chef for Ballymore Foods, and we're talking about combating food waste. How exciting is that? Which is your life, your entire life.
Yes, it
So
is now.
tell us a bit.
24/7.
Tell me more about it. Who are you?
Wow, my name is Giselle Gonçalves. I'm Brazilian, and I've been living in Ireland for almost 4 years now. It's going to be in June, 4 years. Yay! And I really love the country, and it gave me the opportunity of start something that I never thought before. Like, people ask me, were you sustainable? You know, what is your relation to create a sustainable business? It was so random. It was not my first goal. So my first goal was like, I'm a chef for the past 23 years. Oh my God, I'm getting old. So I'm a chef for the past 23 years, and you know, food, it is my life. And I grew up also in an environment that my mom was a cook, my grandmother was a cook, everybody was into, you know, cooking. So it was so normal to be in that kind of environment. So I became a chef, and you know, transform ingredients into something lovely to eat that warms your heart and your belly and everything. It was, you know, it was my daily life. So when I came to Ireland, this whole idea of being sustainable, I started working in business that were concerned about packaging, that were concerned about source ingredients that it was ethically.
Yes.
Oh my God, thank you. Source it, and I was like, okay, these were, you know, new ideas and new concepts that I never had this kind of approach in Brazil. And then I was like, okay, interesting. So let me, you know, I love to Google a lot. Like, if I have a question, okay, let me start Googling, and then food waste came to me, and I was like, one of my research, and I was like, okay, let me dig into more of this. And then I start, you know, researching and checking what, and then you get those numbers. 1.3 billion tons of food is wasted per year in the whole world, and I'm like, oh my God, that's a lot, you know. And then you start digging, and I was like, okay, there's not much people talking about food waste, and I'm a chef, and you know, when you put 1 + 1 = 2, and I was like, okay. And then I'm already 43 years old at the time when I create the business. Like, I love to be in a kitchen, but I don't know how long am I going to have, you know, the energy to be 10 hours, 12 hours in a kitchen working, although I love, and I was looking for something to start on my own. And one day I was working in a cafe, and the supplier gave me a box of bananas. Bananas is in my life. So he gave me a box of banana. He said, look, this is for you for free, because I was looking for ripe bananas to do banana breads. And I was like, why are you giving this for free? And he was like, this is going to be waste. Nobody's going to use it. I cannot sell this anymore. So then I was like, okay. So I, you know, when you put all things together, said, let me work more on this. So I found one business in Amsterdam called In Stock. They had at the time 3 restaurants, and the menu was based in whatever was available. And I was like, oh, that's interesting, you know. As a chef, you're always looking for challenges. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. So I contact them. They're in Amsterdam, and I called them. They sent an email and said, I want to, you know, work for you for free. Can I?
Right.
And they're like, why? You know, I passed through 2 interviews, although like I was offering myself literally to work for them for free. And they're like, okay, you can come for 1 week. They want to understand why I was doing that, you know. And I was like, no, you know, I have this idea of a business. I don't know what is allowed, because it's not, you don't source the ingredients in the same way. You just don't call suppliers that give me 10 kilos of banana and that's it. You buy, you have an invoice, you know, the normal, the standard procedure. And I was like, I want you to understand what I'm going to if I start a business with this idea. So I went there, I spent 1 week, and I saw the business model. I was like, that's perfect, you know. I can do the same in Ireland, but it was never my dream to open a restaurant. I was like, okay, I want to produce, I want to have a product. And they told me that the fruits were the only ingredients that they used to avoid to collect, because fruits are more delicate, you know, they have a short shelf life. And then I was like, okay, fruits, what can I do with fruits, you know? So I came back home. I have this list until now in my computer. So I made a list of all the potential products that I could develop, you know. And ice cream was the first one. Because I was like, what is the best way for you to extend the shelf life of a product when you froze? And I was like, okay, ice cream. And then, okay, I had the idea, and the crop was a name for me. It was a new word that I discovered in English. I was like, okay, crop. I like how it sounds. Something is missing. And then, of course, Googling again, I found there was an expression called cream of the crop. The creme de la creme. Yeah. And I was like, okay, that's what I want to tell people, that those fruits that are being wasted are the creme de la creme, because when it's ripe, you have the level of sugars are at the best, you know, the sweetness, you know, the consistency, everything, it's the best, you know. When we get older, you know, we're in the best, you know, maturity. So that's how everything started, basically. So So.
What a road to discovery.
Yes.
You knew there was more, you didn't know what it was, so you went about it.
Yes, exactly.
And that takes great courage.
Or a little bit of craziness.
And madness too. Of course, there's madness.
A little bit of both.
Entrepreneurs, they say, have that streak of madness. It's essential, isn't it?
It's the same. I compare being an entrepreneur and being a mom the same way. You know, when you decide like, I'm gonna get pregnant, people are like, why? Your life is so good. You know, it's gonna get complicated. You know, it's just like when you're in a job and you get your salary every month. You know, security, all that. And I know I want to go into adventure. I'm like,
And by you going into this adventure, you're changing lives, perspective, you're educating people along the way in Ireland. It's absolutely amazing. It's transformative. You're doing a great job.
I'm trying.
We just sampled one of your products, which was absolutely stunning. And that goes back to what you said, the banana. How important is the banana to you in your business?
Yes, banana is everything to me.
Yeah.
And it's funny because when you talk about bananas, you have a sense that it's a tropical fruit, and you relate the fruit with Brazil, where I'm from, and I was like, how fun is that I went all the way from Brazil to Ireland to develop products that has to do with the tropical, with Brazil, and it's funny. It's crazy sometimes.
I love it.
Yeah.
A reminder every day, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Where I came from, where I am. One thing I want to ask you, and to bring you back to your childhood, what was your favourite meal as a child? So for you to go into the chefing world, now into the production world, where did you come from? What was the food? What was
there's so many foods.
Produced at home?
Yeah, my mom was an excellent cook. And my last trip that I just came back from Brazil a month ago, and I came with a lot of things, and one of the things that I brought was a book that my mom made of her recipes, because when I was little, my mom used to cook for other people, you know, making dinner when takeaway was not a thing, you know. So we were talking about 30 years ago, 35 years ago. And she had a book, she put together information about how to frozen fruits. Oh, look how fun this is. Because when the freezer came, you know, as a unit, people didn't know how to use the freezer. So I remember that my mom transformed our living room into like a class, you know. And we used to receive our neighbors, you know, all the ladies from moms from school. And they used to sit in groups of 10 women in my house. And my mom has, you know, like a balcony, and she had everything explained, how to extract air, you know, to freeze products, what are the different methods of frozen fruits. And I have this book, and funny thing is how I came all those years, and the first product that I developed, it's a frozen product. And I brought this book with me, and then I was like, I didn't know, you know, when you have reference that it's deep inside of your memory, and you just kept there for so many years, and like, oh my God,
then it all makes sense.
it all makes sense.
How wonderful.
And then my grandma as well. So in my family, I had there's a type of market fairs, let's say, like this in Brazil, that they happen every day during the week and during the weekends, and in different parts of the city. And my uncle, he used to have a fruit place.
Oh my God.
So he used to have this fruit place, you know, Tuesday he was in a place, Sunday he was in another, Saturday in another, pop up, yeah. So what happened was Sundays were the days that we used to go to my grandma's house for lunch.
Yeah.
And my uncle used to arrive like 2, 3 in the afternoon, you know, after everything was finished.
Yeah.
And he used to bring all the fruits that he could not sell, and they were ripe fruits. So my grandmother used to transform those fruits in jam, you know, for us to eat. Preserves, and it was like nice for us as a kid, you know. We always have plums, peaches, you know, strawberry in the fridge, like a sweet that we always try. And my in a way my grandmother was doing already. She was saving fruits from being wasted. So I think all of those
practices,
things that happened in my life, the practice, like I kept everything in my memory, and then now, like, oh my God, now I know how to use it. Now I know how to transform this and turn into a business. I think
that's incredible.
Yeah.
So heavily influenced by your upbringing and your childhood.
Yeah.
So sustainability, whether you knew it or not, was completely, as in, it's very hard to put a word on it sometimes, isn't
exactly.
it? Until now,
until now. Yeah. Because it was not a
way of life.
30 years ago, nobody was talking about being sustainable.
Yes.
It was not a concept that people used to talk about. Even now in Brazil, it's slowing. It starts. People are talking about being sustainable, but because we have such abundance of products in Brazil, you know, the weather, you know, the ingredients, so it's there, you know, water, so it's not something that everybody's
There's no restrictions.
There's no restrictions. So I think now it is a movement that I saw when I was there.
Isn't it amazing to think that all of that now plays such an important role to where you are today?
Yeah, absolutely. It's crazy to think that it's my time 100%, you know, that I can dedicate my energy towards to this, you know, and transform ingredients and make good things. I hope so.
A generational family legacy. Cream of the crop.
Exactly. And all comes from the woman side of the family.
Yeah.
My grandmother to my mother and to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now onto your son.
To my son. Yes, exactly.
How beautiful.
How beautiful it is. Yeah.
I love it. Okay. Next question. Love it. What ingredients do you typically use in your gelato, and where do you source them from? I know banana plays a big role, but tell me about the rest.
Yeah. Banana the first. So I create 3 flavors with banana: banoffee pie, roast banana with peanut butter, and a banana made with oat milk from Flahavens, which I love it. It's texture, it's amazing. And you cannot believe that it's dairy free, with cinnamon. So because the amount of banana that I'm getting, and also developing a new product made of banana, but we can talk about this later. And I do get a lot of apples, of course, especially here in September.
Yes.
So people contact me and say, hey, I have 5 apple trees in my backyard, can you come and collect? I love that part. So I go and collect the apples. And apples, oranges, mandarins, lemon. I get a lot of yogurt. Yes, there is a company called Velvet Cloud in Mayo.
Yes. Oh, how fabulous, the sheep.
Exactly. So first, when the pandemic, the first lockdown came, you know, sheep were still producing. You know, no matter what was happening in the world. She donates to me around 100 kilos of yogurt so far. A lot
She's
of
such
yogurt.
a passionate woman, isn't she?
Yes, she's lovely. She was, I remember, she was the second person that I contact with, and I said, look, because I knew her before when I was working in another cafe, And I contacted her. I said, "Look, I have this idea,
Yeah.
and I was wondering if you have any yogurt that it's that you don't use." And she was like, "That's fabulous." She was the first person to really encourage me and say, "That is
See the
amazing."
value.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she was literally, beside fruit, she was the first product that she was like, "I have hundreds of kilos, so I have to buy freezers only to put the velvet cloud yogurt, because once they're frozen, everything stop, and then I can defrost and turn into a gelato."
Yes.
And it's fantastic because her product's so good, and the gelato that comes out of her product, people are so surprised, because when they say, "Oh, it's just yogurt," but when they try the sheep yogurt that I made, the gelato with the strawberry jam, and they're like, "Oh my God, it's so good!" And people are really surprised, because sheep is not a normal ingredient for yogurt, but people are really surprised, and it's really nice, and the product is awesome. So I just highlight, the
great
products,
producers,
the producers,
which is
so
amazing.
milk and even chocolate.
Yeah.
Believe me or not, I get chocolate, because there is a problem with the best before and then use by dates into the packagings that people don't know how to do. And best before is not a health and safety date. It's just like, okay, we recommendation, we advise you to eat it up to this date, but after that date it's still good to eat. But I receive lots of chocolate, like good quality chocolate, that it's because it's out of the best before date. Stores and shops cannot sell anymore, and nobody's going to buy something that is saying that, oh, it's out of date. So there's a lot of waste because of misinformation as well. So,
which is such a pity.
Yes.
Great for you and your product, and thankfully you are here to utilize it, which means we have less waste, which is crazy epidemic, isn't it?
Yes. So last year we saved more than 6 tons of ingredients, and the idea for this year is to save 3 times this, 24 tons.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And so you're linked with different people who are able to utilize you.
Yeah.
Which is fabulous. How do you even go about that? How do you make those connections, or do they find you?
It's funny, some people find me. I get the incredible Alice from Rua Foods. One day she contacted me and said, "Look, I do brownies, and I have the beets of the brownies that I don't use, but they're good, I don't want to waste this. And the staff cannot eat everything." And she was like, "Can you use this?" I was like, "Yes, amazing."
I love it.
So I love the sides of the brownie, the more crunchy.
Yeah.
And she supplied me with so much beets of the brownies, and then I cut it, and I was like, okay, that's my biggest seller. It's sea salt caramel with brownies inside from Rua Foods. And it is amazing. People are like, "Oh my God, that's so amazing." So it's, last year I got contact from so many people. Katie's from Katie's Kombucha.
Yeah.
She one day she contacted me and said, "Look, Giselle, I have kombucha." I was like, "How come?" I was trying to understand how come you have leftover kombucha that you cannot sell. And she was like, we made the kombucha, and the container, the kombucha, it's fermented. There's how do you call it?
The SCOBY.
Not the SCOBY. No, when you remove, not like a tap, like a tap of the container that you remove the kombucha.
Yeah.
So she was bottling all the kombucha.
Yeah.
So what happened is there's like 5 centimeters down the top.
Yeah.
That she cannot remove.
Yes. All right.
So she was putting together all those bits from the kombucha, and she was giving to me. She was like, "Oh, I cannot sell this because in the end you have the leftover from
and the
sediments, and I can use the good part, and I made a sorbet out of this.
Fabulous.
So I was like, all these ideas. As a chef, I'm like amazed when everybody contact me with this.
And that's the exciting part. So the next question is, can you talk us through the development process of the gelato flavors each week? which is lovely.
Week, yes.
It's that to be able to expose the potential of these ingredients that people are coming to you for help with.
Yeah. Oh, it's crazy sometimes. I'm like, oh my god, I need to stop getting products. You know, every time that I come into the kitchen with a different thing on that works with me, she was like, oh my god, no, Giselle.
Oh, I
Like,
love
look
it.
how excited. Like, I think in December we got into our maximum. In December we had 35 flavors,
Whoa.
flavors at once.
Wow. Just because there was so much food to use?
So much food to use.
Yeah.
And then like
And so there's pressure.
there's
a lot of pressure.
Yeah, there is
Yeah.
pressure because most of the fruits, when we get fruits, most of the fruits you have to produce right away.
Yeah.
Because
Work
they
with.
work with it. You
Yeah.
cannot wait. So this impact into storage space
Of course.
for the
use
final
of equipment.
product, use of
Yeah.
equipment, and also storage space for the product
freeze.
when they arrive.
Yes.
So I need to have a big cold
Refrigeration.
room, refrigeration, and I need to have more freezer space.
Yes.
So it takes more of not effort, but I would say
Planning.
planning.
Yeah.
When I get this, sometimes
Yeah.
like I need to stop receiving products, and they're like, but I cannot say no.
I
When
know.
people comes to me with like a different ingredient, I'm like, oh my god, this morning I had one of my suppliers, Odaios, they called me and said, Giselle, I have dry blueberries. Can you
Gorgeous.
use it? And I was like, yes. I was like, no, my kitchen is not ready. And I was like, can you hold it a little bit?
Oh my god.
Yeah, so he has like dry blueberries and he has chocolate.
Oh
And
wow.
what is the other one that he? Oh, he has also caramel. You know, the caramel squares that you buy like ready to go. And he's like, "Can you do something?" I was like, "Yes." I don't know what I'm gonna do, but yes, give it to me. I will find something.
So now you have literally you have moved kitchen because space. You need space.
Yeah, I need space.
Yeah.
I need space.
So in order for all of this to happen and for
Yes.
you to do your best job.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So now I'm gonna have a walk-in freezer, which
Oh.
I'm so happy. You know, I feel like when you put a kid into a toy store,
Yes.
and then you say, go get whatever you want. You know.
Yes.
I have the same feeling right now. Say when I walk into my space, I'm like, yes, I can do so much more.
You can do your best job, your best work.
Yes,
Yeah.
And I'm truly, it is a business.
Yeah.
But I'm so happy when I create something and then the final result is so nice, and I'm like, I want people to eat this.
Yeah.
Like 2 weeks ago, I put on the website a kiwi sorbet.
Yes.
You know how long we are getting kiwis together just for us to have an amount, because kiwi is not a fruit that you have surplus in Ireland, you know, it's not like apples, bananas, or mandarins. So each week that we're receiving kiwis with all the rest of the fruits we are getting, I was like, okay, another kilo.
Stockpiling.
Yes, another kilo, and then another kilo, and then one day Anna opened the freezer. Giselle, I think we have too much kiwis here. Say, oh, it's time. So let's do it. So we did a kiwi sorbet,
I love it.
which is great, and it's not a normal thing that you can find in shops. So I want to have when I put a new product to sell, and I'm excited with the product, I want people to taste and to have the same excitement when they're eating, because it is special.
Yeah.
Am I going to get more kiwis? I don't know. I have no idea, how long it's going to take for me to get kiwis again,
Yes.
So just savor
That's the
it,
exciting part of what you do.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
I love it. I love the description, like a kid in a toy shop.
Yes.
And then the walk-in freezer. And I get that, and any of the chefs listening or watching now will understand that if you don't have the right space that is set up for what it is you need to do, then your work is tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get excited with the freezer as a chef get excited with knives.
We all do.
Yeah.
Given the incredible response to Cream of the Crop Gelato, do you think businesses and customers alike are eager to learn more about preventing food waste? Where are we?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I think we're still in the very slow path of going towards to sustainability. Sustainability is there, and we are a little bit far, but I think we are going. We are moving. I think not as much as I want. Recently, I'm trying to put information together. Of course, now the business is growing, so I need to get more, data regarding food waste. How can I ask people ask this question all the time, how can you scale your business, you know all the entrepreneur side of growing a business.
Yeah.
So recently I got in contact with the research saying people don't relate food waste with sustainability. They don't relate how change your diet it's connected to a better world. So I think I was like, oh my God, there's so much to do still.
Wow.
People cannot. It's something that
It's not tangible.
It's not tangible.
Yeah.
People don't see what I see. When I go collect things and I see that all the things that are being wasted, I cannot use 100% because I basically use fruits, yogurts, but the amount of savory, onions, potatoes, and ham and salads and ready sandwiches that goes to waste, that it's nothing I can do. It just breaks my heart. And I think people don't visualize how much food is going to waste, and it's something that it's still far from people.
Yeah.
Like everybody's still putting underneath the rug,
Yeah.
It's something that, okay, let's not talk about this. So they connect food waste with people that are starving in the world. So there's nothing to do with being sustainable. So when you're in your house and then you throw food, I'm like, oh, I don't want to throw this food because there's so many people starving. There's so many people with no good food access. And I was like, okay, that's really
it's privileged.
It's a privilege.
Yeah, when you really start to uncover it.
Exactly. But that's how people associate food waste. So it's not something that is related, and it's completely related with climate change. And I think there's a little bit, so that changed our approach this year.
Yeah.
So in social media, the education, yes, we want to show more people and trying to impact people with the numbers, of we are changing our website now, and one of the things that I want to put in the front page is like a scale of how much food we saved that week.
I love it.
And how it's the carbon footprint that is associated with that.
Oh my goodness.
So I want people to be impacted by those numbers and say, oh my God. Honesty. And it's me only. I'm a small business. I'm moving to 156 square meters warehouse. I'm small. So can you imagine if me as a small business, I'm doing this? Can you imagine what else is out there? You multiply this by 10, by 20, by 100, by 1,000, and then you're gonna start having an idea the impact of food waste.
But it has to start with the one person.
Yes.
And the one person to influence positively the next person.
Yes.
And for us all then to share that information and education.
Yeah.
To bring us all together, because it's small steps.
Because
it's overwhelming. Because as you say, it's a global issue. It affects people on so many different levels for so many different reasons. And if access to good food is a privilege, well then if we look at what the opposite of that is for people who are struggling, it's a game changer, isn't it? So the little things we can do for ourselves is cut down on 30% of our shopping every week.
Exactly, that's a good start.
Smaller portions on our plates.
Exactly. And one thing also that we can do, and people, when I go to supermarkets say they have a strict specs, very strict. All the banana has to be and with that color, the strawberry has to be. And I was like, okay, where this information is coming from? Right? Consumers are demanding this, and they're like, no. I was like,
we're told.
Yes, but who is demanding this? It's the government? No. Not the shoppers, not the government. I was like, who decides that the banana needs to have, 15 centimeters and being light green? I was like, what kind of world we end up that we are like have to measure the banana? Okay, if it is above 15 centimeters, it's not good to eat anymore. I was like, oh my God, no.
We're so detached.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then people don't realize, who came first, the chicken or the egg? We are chasing that answer in food waste. So the demands Who decide? I don't know. What's him? So we are pointing fingers, and nobody knows exactly.
Yeah.
So I think we need to stop, slow down, and start making, demands to your local shop. Why you're selling apples with plastic?
Yeah.
Why it's not loose?
No, thank you. Yeah, no thank you.
No, thank you. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So
Yeah.
I'm not going to buy here anymore because you're selling apples into plastic that it doesn't need to be,
So checking the back door, isn't it?
Exactly.
What's coming through your back door? So for kitchens, for all types of businesses, food related,
Exactly.
stop it at the back door. But don't stop at the back door. Where did it come from? How did it get there?
Exactly.
Who made it? How did they create it?
Exactly.
What was the soil like? What was the beginning like? And so
That's
it's the uncovery, isn't it? The
Yes,
process.
yes.
That takes time.
Takes time.
But the rewards are monumental to a
Yes.
business.
Absolutely.
Because
Yes.
we spend with our feet. So if I choose to go down the road because they have a sustainability strategy that is so transparent and honest, I might choose them over their competitors next door
Exactly.
who haven't implemented all of these positive changes yet.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So
100%.
there's a race now because this is it's life changing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we now want it.
And I
Sustainability.
hope for the next generation. I have my son is 12 years old,
Yeah.
and hopefully he see how passionate I am with the business and with the idea, and I try to show him, this is right, this is wrong, and he tries to pass this on to his friends at school, and I was like, oh my god, we need to talk more about this,
Yeah.
because when I was kid, I know where's the mango come from. I used to climb mango trees,
Yeah.
back
Magic.
in the days. But now, my son gets a mango from a plastic package in the supermarket. He never seen a mango tree before.
And the mango has travelled more than he has.
Exactly. So if we don't tell them, the next generation, this is not right,
Yeah.
there's much we can do. There's only,
The kids are the key to success for us.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Which is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. It's lovely.
Yeah.
He's going to make changes too, isn't he?
Oh, hope so. I hope so.
No pressure.
Otherwise, God, it's gonna be. He's gonna see the lion mom.
Oh, I'm scared. No. I'm kidding. Okay, final question for this session. From your experience, is there enough readily available information on how to minimise food waste in restaurants and cafes?
No, I would guarantee
Yeah.
there is no enough information.
Yeah.
No. And you know what strikes me? Yesterday I went to my glass bin and to throw a few jars that I had in my kitchen. When I look into the bin, all those glasses were full of rest of wine, of jam, and I was like, oh my god. Does people think that somebody is gonna get these jars of glass? They're okay. I'm separating my glass, so it's the wish cycling that we say. So do you think somebody's gonna get this glass, wash for you, and then recycle? You're not doing your part,
Yeah.
It-
Beautifully put.
It's those things that I see on my daily basis. I was like, oh my god, we need
starts
to
at
hold.
home.
Yes, we need to hold the hand of these people and say, look, this needs to be cleaned by you, and then goes to the glass bin.
Yeah. Yeah.
You need to remove, the paper sticker that has, because the paper sticker is not recyclable. So I think the education is still the information is out there,
Yeah.
but the information is too much to read.
Yeah. It's a lot.
It's a lot. One of the things that I want to do with my website, and I was telling the guys, that put everything images.
Yeah.
Because you scroll, nobody has time, so you're scrolling. If you have images that show exactly what you want to say, not in words, because you don't have 5 minutes to read anything, but you can see in the images, oh, I have to get this, wash, and oh, okay, I didn't know that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So even with my ice cream at delivery, and people say, can you get the containers back? I say, yes. Oh my god, containers with mold.
Yeah.
I was like, how come you finish? You don't, at least rinse it to give it back.
Yeah.
So that, I know a few things like this, business as well, if you don't do it at your house, how are you going to do at the business you're working? You're not going to do. It's something that you have to repeat. It has to become a routine. A habit.
And so it's self-training, isn't it? But I love this idea, because if you're not educating your customers, well, then you're doing a disservice to your business and your brand.
Exactly.
So for you to be able to bring them on a visual journey of how they can make better practices in order to be a part of something bigger than themselves, isn't that a beautiful thing that you can bring to us as well?
Exactly.
Yeah, love it. Giselle, I can't thank you enough for
thank
taking
you.
the time.
Thank
because
you
I know how
for
busy you
inviting
are.
me.
You're so good.
Oh.
And on behalf of Ballymaloe Foods, thank you for sharing with us today.
Thank you.
And we look forward to tasting all of your wonderful, fabulous ice creams and
amazing.
gelatos. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, Tracie. Thank you, guys.